Hey there, toy collector friends and Batman fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. This is the time traveling toy collector, and this is the hero collector Eaglemoss Batman Automobilia special release, the Flying Batcave. Yes, the Flying Batcave. Now I've got to admit, when this first came through, I had no idea what the Flying Batcave was. And didn't know what to expect. I mean, you got a sort of a still image of it in the magazine, but you know what? It's really well. It's quite the piece. I looked at some of the information in the magazine, and then I had a look at a bit more depth about what it was, how it featured when I looked online for that. But as a three-dimensional representation of the Flying Batcave, and I don't know if it's ever been produced in a toy form elsewhere. I'm of the view it probably hasn't. Because it would be a phenomenal scale to actually make it work. I know sometimes toy manufacturers muck about with scale to make things doable, but this is really something else. And I'm so pleased that it's in my collection of Batman Automobilia. In a second, I'm going to take the lid off, and we'll have a look at the lenticular thing along the back, and all the usual paraphernalia. But I just wanted to say, do please, whilst we're here, drop a like on the video, because it's really so helpful for the channel, and also whilst you're about it, why not click the subscribe button? It really helps me. A lot of people watch these videos, but then that doesn't necessarily translate into likes or subscribes. Now again, it doesn't mean you're committed to watching every video. You may only be interested in Batman stuff, or you may have an interest in Doctor Who stuff, or Star Wars stuff, or Star Trek stuff, or Transformers stuff, or G.I. Joe stuff, or whatever sort of stuff it might be. But that's fine. You can have a wander around. I'm not asking you and begging you to watch every video. It's just really helpful for the channel, and it really helps the cursed holy algorithm, Batman, so that more people get a chance to see and hear the video content. So if you wouldn't mind, you'd be doing me a huge bat favour. Anyway, back to the case in point. So here we have the frankly epic Flying Batcave. Now again, you can see it from what I will take the case off shortly, but you can see here it's a very hefty build. Again, I think it would probably have benefited from a slightly elongated case, because it does mean when you're looking square at it, the backdrop never quite effectively provides, well, a backdrop to the Flying Batcave, which I think is a shame. You can see again it's firmly held in place by screws, which if you wanted to undo and release the toy, well, it's not a toy, let's be honest, it is a model. It isn't really for play, or at the very least very careful play, because the rotors, if I remember rightly, are fixed in place. So you don't really want to be messing with those, because they do break oh so easily, oh so easily. So let me see if I can take off this case without it causing too much of a nightmare scenario for me. Oh, well, yeah. I always feel like it's some sort of Raiders of the Lost Ark carry on when you're trying to take those things off. Here's the lenticular backdrop, such as it is. It's an extract from Detective Comics, sorry, 166, I think it is. It tells us here. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, 186. Sorry, 186. And here's Batman and Robin, along with some police force types, being filmed. And again, you know, because it's taken from comic book art, they do seem to be able to do a much better job of giving it that sort of 3D lenticular effect than some of the still photography that they've used in other Batmobilia releases. So yeah, this one's a real win for me. I really like this one. But that, of course, is not the main event. This is the main event. So let's take a look at the Flying Batcave. Now, as I mentioned, these are fixed in place. They will not move. We do have, let me see if I can just zoom in, because that's probably going to help keep the light there. Is that going to work for me? What's the easiest way of doing this? Let's see if I can get in possibly even closer there. Let's have a look at that. So there's the interior of the Batcave, the Flying Batcave. And if you can sort of avoid looking at the awkward reflections of me, you can see it's got those 2 seats with a nice array of controls and joysticks and gears there, which is a very nice touch indeed. Very, very nice touch. And it's got the seats. It's got I don't know if you can see there's that sort of bat scope. It's got a range of, I don't know whether that's being counterproductive with the light or not. Let's see if that'll focus for us. Let's see what we can do about it. Maybe the further away is the better. But you can, there is a lot of really nice contained detailing, and that's just in this canopy area. Just in this canopy area, there's an awful lot of really pretty good detailing, and I'm really impressed with that, because it could have just been, you know, a bit of molded plastic here and there, and not an awful lot done to you know, not an awful lot done to convince us of the detailing within that model. Again, the rest of the shaping of it is bat-esque. You've got a very familiar looking, some might interpret it slightly differently, but that sort of cowled cockpit canopy area. You've got little sort of bat tail wings here towards the rear of the again, let me zoom out for you a bit. So around the back here, we've got these bat tail thing here, bat insignia there. There's some nice, which I think is a really nice, it's clearly a cartoon, a comic book detail that's carried over brilliantly to the model, which are the rivets. You can see all the rivets in the paintwork here, which are just, you know, painted on dots. But I think it's a really nice thing to be able to demonstrate. I keep telling you this, and apologies, but I'm so taken with that interior. I really think it's beautifully done. Second side, same as the first. Really, you've got those what look like inlet vents by the side of the rotor blade there. But yeah, it's a for me, it's a really lovely piece, and a fantastic entry into the Batman Automobilia Collection. I'll just realign myself slightly there for you. Maybe going a bit closer. But yeah, for me, this is a really great special edition type of collectible. It's not super well known. I mean, I think if you're a diehard DC or diehard Batman fan and comic book fan, you probably are more aware of it. But I've spoken to a couple of people who would classify themselves as sort of passive Batman fans or DC fans, and they'd never heard of it. But it does also have, for me, it has that really cool sort of retro sense of, you know, early days of comic books, where, of course, we can put a propeller on it and make it fly. To hell with physics and science and stuff like that, doesn't matter. And I really love that. I sort of love that, and again, it's sort of a key word with me, I appreciate, but I really love the nostalgia that sort of builds in, because I think it's fantastic. I think it's a really lovely piece, and I think it, you know, would you see something like this in the live action universe? Well, there's a point at which I'd say no, but nowadays I'm not sure I would say no. Maybe it would someday. We'll see something similar. But you know what? For me, it's a little piece of Batman history, and it's encapsulated in this model. And maybe you picked it up when it was first out and about. Maybe you wish you had. They do occasionally surface at conventions or toy fairs. So if it is something you're looking for, keep an eye out for it. I personally think it's an absolute delight, especially next to some of the other special edition sizes. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. I mean, would you like to see the Flying Batcave in your collection, or something, an oddity on your shelf? as a conversation piece. Maybe you would, as you know, keep an eye out. Maybe you had a look at it now and you've gone, what a bulbous mess of a figurine thing that is. I don't want that anywhere near me. Oh my goodness. And that's fair too. That could be your point of view. It certainly isn't mine, but that could be your point of view, to which you are totally entitled. And again, it's a snapshot representation. So is it completely comic book accurate? I'm going to say it probably isn't, but I don't know how anything really could be, especially going back to a particular age in Batman comics, DC comics, because, you know, to be perfectly frank, from frame to frame things would change, it'd be adjusted, different artists might pencil it slightly differently. So I think the fact they've actually captured something this well and realized it this well as a 3D, I say 3D model because it is, but I don't want to sound like a 3D printed model, which it isn't. It is quite robust. There's a lot of plastic in there. I think there's a bit of die cast in there, but don't quote me on that. It is fragile, so again, as I've mentioned already, do be careful. If it's not a toy per se, it is a display piece, so it must be treated as such, and with a degree of careful handling and the respect you would treat any sort of collectible model. Well, hopefully this has helped you have a bit of a closer look, in case you missed out on it previously, on the Flying Batcave as presented from Eaglemoss and Hero Collector as part of their Batman Automobilia Collection. Again, as I mentioned at the top of the video, please do drop a like for this, and do, if you can, subscribe to the video. It doesn't cost you a cent or a penny, and it's one small click for you and a gigantic leap forward for this channel. So thank you so much. I'll be back really soon with some other bits and pieces as I approach my 200th video, and I am planning a sort of trilogy of videos to take me over that 200 mark. I wonder if you can guess who or what I might be looking at across those 3 different videos. Anyway, take care. Thanks for watching. You've been a fantastic audience. I've been the Time Traveling Toy Collector. This has been the Flying Batcave from DC Comics, as produced by Hero Collector and Eaglemoss back in the good old days of Hero Collector and Eaglemoss. And it just remains for me to say, I look forward to seeing you in a future video, and remember that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever. Bye-bye for now.